Hey fellow reefers, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lee, this is Reefer Explained. Today we're taking a kind of deeper dive on the Red Sea Reefmat 500, the final verdict after having this installed for some time. This would be part 4, and go check the other videos out if you're interested, and we'll get right to it. So picked up the roller mat on the old tank, which was the E260, and cut the silicone out of the baffles in the sump and did the downpipe cut, and that worked really well. And now we're on the new G2 250 models, and yeah, it's more adaptable, so let's get to it. In the function of the roller mat, obviously it is rolling out debris and fish poop and waste, and keeping that clarity of water crystal clean. It obviously works similar to a sock, a nylon sock or the fleece sock, similar to the wall inside a filter cup where water's passing through it, but you're removing it on a automatic roll, which rolls directly out of the tank and keeping the dirty side here and the clean side here. For anyone that's new to this, it can be hooked on to the side of the tank, at the front or the side if you've got room, and it also can be adjusted with feet that would go just below here and here. They sit as 4 feet, so you don't have to have the weight on the glass, or you can position it into another place if this was not possible for some reason. So that's the positioning of the roller mat 500. Now, with having it kind of at the front, less to the side, it's more easier for access, and it's facing you. So what that basically means is you can pull this handle up, access the roll here to change out, and you would obviously just place this in the cradle for repositioning and putting a new roll in. The roll will always, when positioned on, will come from obviously here and go into a cage down the bottom that I will show. But the cage goes through the roller mat cage, clamps into position, and then you push down to the bottom and screw in to prevent the water from leaking out of the bottom. This is where the water's coming in, and the hose comes from here. This is the main drain from the Red Sea part, and obviously you can see this tube came off my old system, but basically the tube went on to an adapter that you could buy or get with the roller mat, and you just glue it in place, and I've zip tied it as well, if you can see that. That's held up to the test of time. I've had no issues with it. As you can see, the zip tie, and it was glued into place. And then that just slots on to the existing pipe work, which was on this part here, and it will work for all other models. The only difference with the G2 sumps and versions is this part here. There is a tray that goes in back and forth with the socks in, and that can just be now lifted out to make access for the Red Sea roller mat 500, or whichever model you're using, let's say. The roll will go the opposite way out and down, so that the fleece is against the back side of this cage. Now, for purposes of cleaning, obviously everything can be dismantled and taken out and cleaned with a hose or a toothbrush, just to get in there and clean the cage out. As time goes on, incrustations, and even with the roll down the bottom there, that needs to be taken out and cleaned. So if I just zoom in, so it just threads through like this, if you can see, and I'm not going to pull it out actually because it's quite dirty in there, but basically it goes underneath this roll, and then, as I said, you push down and you twist into place to lock it in. You've got the drive shaft here, the motor, goes in through this hole, and it can go on the opposite side here by just taking this plate out, which is here, left or right side. I've got mine on the left, and then the little clamp goes on top to position. These are fastened in when the cage is set and on and into position, but to get it out you would push down either side, and then you could got access to this roll just by lifting up and out. That just holds it into place and just lock them back in. It's controlled via the app, and there is a function on the drive side itself. So we have another drive side here, as you can see. So we have the settings, I believe, and Wi-Fi button. And then on the front here, on the side, sorry, should I say, you have the forward and back motion of manually doing the roll in case the app, you couldn't gain access to the app, which is a nice feature. And then you've got the indication lights here. So if they're flashing as a warning, the level might be too high. And you'll get these also on the app itself. It will give you notifications of what's actually happening. One wheel is fixed into place as such, and the other wheel freely moves. And this is how it looks. On this side, you'll have the connection to the power, I believe, and one will be the level sensor. So where it tells the titanium, I think it's titanium probes, to indicate the water levels at that height. So power and then level sensor, I'll show you. So there is the drive mat, and at the back of this, there is the, if you come in here, there's the power coming out, and one is going to be the sensor. The sensor just runs down and clips on the side here. So if we just come in and zoom in, there's the sensor, and it sits in like this little groove. So if I just grab and show you, so it just jiggles out, and there's the sensor. I would clean this once in a while with a toothbrush. You don't need to go crazy, don't want to damage it, but you can pick these up, I think replacement, for around 25-30 pounds from your local LFS store. If they don't have them in stock, they order them for you, just in case you ever damage this by any means. And the main groove in the middle, as you can see, it's deeper than everything else because it is a bit confusing which way, but it goes this way. So the power cable sticking out it goes in, see if you can see, it goes in this little hole, so inside this slot. And if we come around the other side, you can see a little bit better. So this bit, this major groove goes in and then pushes down onto that bit there. So this bit is slightly raised and this is dropped, so it sits in that position there. And as the water level, there you go, raises, it goes up. We put that back in because it's going crazy. Okay, so we are now in the app. If we go to the main overview of the app, it will look like this depending on what's connected. So on mine, I've got the Reef Wave 25 pump, which is the gyro pump. We've got the Roast Doser 4 on here. We've got the Reefmat 500, which is the middle one, and we've got the Red Sea ATR. I've turned all of those both off for now because obviously we were working on it. If we turn them back on, you can turn them on in clicking on which one you want to go back on. So there's the Reefmat back connected on and back on again for the ATO. If we go back to the home, you can see now they're connected and they're fully working. If we go to the Reefmat itself, and if you go to the mat dispense, you can see how much you're doing used per day by inches. It gives you an indication, and so if you're working on the tank and just bringing up detritus and things like that, or moving corals around, you'll probably notice that you'll use more inches in that day because obviously the mat is working harder. If we come back out, we've got it selected as auto. You can just set it as manual if you want. We've got the new roll initialization. You just follow the steps and it starts at 91.9 feet. For the new roll, you can do a partial roll if you know what you've got left on that roll. Go into more settings, and mat advanced length is where I think we are at. And then you can see here, you can change this. So I don't know what it was set as. I think it was set around 0.6 or 0.8 when it came out the box. I've set it down to the lowest point, which is 0.2 to 0.4. Press OK. Now that will just move a little bit at a time when it gets clogged. That way the mat is not advancing as much, which means I'm saving on that. You've got end of roll monitor. So we've got mine selected if you drop down the menu to 5 days. So 5 days, I know that my mat is coming to an end, and that gives me time to judge when I need to change it out. Ideally, we'll change it out on the last day, the 1 day, but I just like to get that reminder, and that sends me an alert by text, email, or notification on the push app, sorry, should I say. We've got the roll history, which is the same thing, shows you how much is being pulled out. And we've got the drive unit here on the left. If we click on it, it should take some time. And we've got the Reefmat edit model. So we get Reefmat 500 there, just selected. And you can actually select a schedule. So you can select, let me just show you got Reefmat position left or right. So we're left, obviously. That's fine, we're not going to change that. And you've got a schedule here. So if you wanted to, you could set it to advance on a schedule. So say for instance it was going to be in a room in your bedroom and you didn't want it to move in that time, so you could, you didn't want it to be auto, you could set a schedule for when it's going to go off, and at night time it wouldn't go off. And that's about it really for the app. You can do it by week and you can do it by month to see where the graph is on this, but this is a great product, guys. I'm really happy with the Reefmat 500 just there. We are halfway through the roll, and it's absolutely amazing. We're gonna go back to the tank now. When the mat advances on the reel, I'll do it manually on the side of here. There's two buttons, left or right, so you can work out which one is working. Let me just see if I can grab, there we go. Let me see, there we go. See if I can grab button, and it's a little bit tight. This is probably why I should have moved it to a different area. It's not allowing me to advance the roll, which is strange. I could not get my hand in here. Oh, here we go. So it's at the front here, sorry. The buttons here on this side, the other one was the Wi-Fi. So you can, that's the kind of noise it does. It's not too bad, considering. There, it makes that noise when it's full, when it's on, like that. So once the cabinet doors are closed, you won't hear it. If you've got an open door situation or it's in a bedroom, you will hear it. It does make a bit of a grinding noise, but in the big scheme of it, it is really quiet. Oh, one more thing to cover. If the mat gets jammed, you want to obviously open it up, maybe shut down the power first, open it up and see what's the jam. It could be that obviously there is like a debris trappage in this plate down the bottom, or it could just be that the mat is got clogged somehow on, or the sensor's playing up. So you can check a few of those things. If the water level is too high as well, it will give you an indication, which sometimes that can happen with your drains. So if the water's coming down too fast, it will overflow. And it was something I was kind of concerned about, but basically it will come out the spillages of the side here. Each side has an opening for the water to pass over. So if the roller mat doesn't work, all it will do is just spill over the sides. You'll hear it trickling, but it's nothing to be concerned about because it's not going to do anything. It's not like it's going to leak outside of the box as such, out of your actual sump. It's only coming out of these sides here. And the way to do it really is to take off the to level out your drains back to the same rate. Check your return pump, make sure it's running at the right rate. Clean that sensor, and then press resume on the app if you get a jam or a level sense of the water level being too high. They're the only things really I've encountered. Those three things is the jam, the water level high, and the actual motor failing on the roller mat. And it will fail because this is constantly turning. Obviously, you know, it's been running on the system for years, and I think the motor finally went on the first one after a few days. I don't know why, maybe there was a fault. And then it went after about 2 years, 3 years, I believe, on the next motor. So get yourself a spare motor, guys. It's a couple of quid, and it will just save you a lot of aggro. Check out the video to how to do that on mine. And as I said, if you like this content, I would really appreciate you liking, subscribing, and sharing. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care.